Oi, governors, we back. We have the data mines for the new child banner and also the refines for the next batch of units. Your guess is as good as mine why this refine batch had to happen at freaking 3 in the morning, but here we are. So let's go ahead and start things off with Duo Alphonse, the Alphster himself. Hopefully this guy gets something good because his Duo skill has aged quite well. Okay, so Accelerate Special Trigger. At the start of combat, if unit's special is ready, grants all stats of 5 to unit. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack, and reduces damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit's defense during combat. Okay, they gave him the Asker true damage reduction effect there based on defense, and this guy's defense is not too shabby. So already this is better than what it was before. Okay, his new effect is if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit, inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack, and reduces the effect of deep wounds on unit by 50% during combat, and also when special triggers, unit deals damage equal to 15% of unit's defense. Ooh, that's only when special triggers. They could have gave that to him on every attack, I feel like, because that's how Asker works. Because they already gave him the true damage, or true damage reduction, so they might as well have gave him the true damage as well. I'm not the biggest fan of cutting deep wounds in half, because deep wounds is a very rare thing. You don't really see deep wounds too often, although Open the Future is a healing special, so I guess it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. Inflicting Guard, all stats of 4, they seem solid. The true damage reduction is really going to help them a lot, I think. Because, like, the rest of their stuff, they're just getting a whole bunch of stats. They inflict Guard, they have the special ramping, and they already have that effect on their Duo skill where they can ramp -2 special cooldown charge for all infantry allies within a select set of spaces. So that's going to be really good. They're going to be nuts with Special Spiral 4 and, like, Times Pulse 4 and yada yada yada. So certainly not a bad refine. But I wouldn't say this is on the level of Christmas Marth. That guy got some nutty stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at Bantu up next. Bantu with his godlike bathrobe. This dude's artwork is so baller. I would love to build him. So, give me some good stuff here. Let's see some love for Bantu. Okay, Wizened Breath. 16 might, 1 range, HP up 3. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat. And also, if no effect neutralizes penalties to foes' attack speed, defense, or res, inflicts a penalty on each of those stats during combat equal to 6 minus the current penalty on each of those stats. Huh? Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to read that again. We'll come back. I'll read it again to fully grasp it. If unit's HP is over 25% at the start of combat, inflicts all stats -6 on foe through its next actions after combat. Okay, kind of like a Gloom Breath effect there. And also adaptive damage, of course. He is a dragon. If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is over 75% at the start of combat, grants all stats of 4 to unit, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack during combat. Okay. Alright, so let's go through this again. This part in the middle here kind of got me off guard. Okay, so he gets all stats of 4. If no effect neutralizes penalties to foes' attack speed, defense, or res. So, Brave Hector, for example, his refined Maltet neutralizes his own penalties. Legendary Shez nullifies her own penalties. What else is an example? Emblem on her C skill, Severance. I don't know why they tacked that on there, but she can neutralize penalties at the start of the turn. So, things like that. Inflicts a penalty on each of those stats during combat equal to 6 minus the current penalty on each of those stats. So, kind of like penalty doubler, I guess. No, not really penalty doubler. It's 6 minus. So, they could be at -3 and they're taking an additional -6. So, let's say the enemy has -3 to all stats, which would not be difficult to do with Legendary Robin. He's like the god of debuffs with that. It happens no matter where they are on the map, and then it targets allies in 2 spaces of those targets. So let's say -3 to everything and then -6 to everything on top of that. So possibly -9. If unit's HP is over 25% at the start of combat, inflicts another all stats -6 on the foe after combat. Yeah, so he has this like Gloom Breath effect or Saizo's dagger, whatever you want to call this. After combat, he just does Omni Smoke, basically. Yeah, man, it's not bad. For as far as like 4-star and 3-star demote units goes, this is okay. This is serviceable. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Thea, where I thought Thea's was pretty good at the time. I think this is solid. It's not like terrible, but it's not like insane or nothing. So maybe I still will build him. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Conrad here. He's going to be our Grand Hero battle of this batch, by the way. So, Mass Lance, 16 might, 1 range, HP of 3. If unit initiates combat or is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and inflicts penalty on foes' attack, defense, and res during combat, equal to 20% of units' res at the start of combat. Okay, his res is slightly better than defense. Okay. Interesting. 20% of his res. There's no cap on that either. That's giving me some Kiel vibes, where she can just destroy the enemy's attack with crazy amounts of debuffs if you have her stats high enough. So, how high can you stack this guy's res? I don't know, but the higher you do, the more penalties he can inflict, so that's not bad. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and also if unit's res is better than the foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and AoE specials by a difference between stats times 4. So he has Shade there. That's what my fan base has taken to calling this effect. It's not dodge, it's Shade. So res-based DR, essentially. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, this is definitely better than Death Knight, I would say. They really hated Death Knight. I don't know why, but yeah, this is at least better than Death Knight. But is this like insane? I would say it's solid. I don't think this is bad necessarily, but it's not like spectacular. Kind of the vibes we're seeing all across the board here. Okay, we have Silque up next. Staff of Lilies. I'm expecting she's going to have the melancholy effect here. So let's see. Calculates damage from staff like other weapons. Okay, that's good. Built-in Wrathful Staff. After combat, if unit attacked, resets special cooldown of target and foes within 2 spaces of target, and inflicts guard on target and foes in 2 spaces of target. So yeah, basically it is Melancholy or Witchy Wand, whatever you want to call that. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat. Okay. Alright, see, the problem with Silque is that she's infantry, though. Like, for a unit like Maribel or Elise, where they happen to be cavalry staff units, they were able to make a little bit more use out of that with the extra mobility. I guess maybe you give her Oath 4 or something and let her jump around, or have someone with Guidance 4 so she can jump around, but... Alright, let's keep going here. If unit initiates combat or is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat. And also, after combat, if unit attacked, inflicts attack and speed -6 on target and foes in 2 spaces of target through the next actions. And grants defensive res up 6 to allies in 2 spaces of unit during combat, and restores 7 HP to those allies after combat. Oh, that's different. So she gives drive, defense, and res 6. And then drive, HP recovery after combat. That's different. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, so she's not a bad unit to just have standing around, I guess. But there's actually better drive buffs you can give. For example, like Legendary Byleth gives drive null follow-up, which is pretty nuts. So it is defense and res up 6 and HP up 7 on the same level as that. Also, Caden can give basically all of his own stat bonuses as a drive buff, on top of giving guard as well. So, I mean, it's good, but like, it's outcompeted by a lot of other support type things that we can do. So, not bad. I mean, it's not bad. But again, like we've seen with all of these guys, it's not bad, but it's not like blowing me away. So here we go. Let's wrap things up with this bad girl right here. Flame Emperor herself, Edelgard. What do you got? So I think her weapon was called Victorious Axe. Yep. Okay, 16 might, 1 range, HP up 3. Accelerate special trigger. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, or the number of foes in 2 spaces a unit, excluding the target, is greater than or equal to the number of allies in 2 spaces of unit, excluding the unit. Grants all stats of 4 to unit, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack during combat. I believe this is the exact same. I think this is the exact same as it was. I know for a fact that she had that OG Flame Siegmund effect where she wants to be attacking foes where the foes are all bunched together and then she's all by herself, basically. So this part looks the same to me. Maybe the stats are a little different, but the effect itself seems the same. If unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat and deals damage equal to 10% of unit's attack, including when doing damage with a special triggered before combat. And if unit initiates combat and unit is not adjacent to any ally after combat, grants another action to unit. Okay. Yeah, we all saw that one coming, right? It's Edelgard. Once per turn, if a skill effect moves unit after combat, this effect occurs based on unit's final placement after that movement. So that would be something like Close Call, I guess. Or Hit and Run or something. I'm not sure why you'd run Close Call on a unit with 30 speed, but yeah, like Hit and Run or something like that. Like after she attacks, she moves away for some reason. So this is definitely good. I mean, being able to take an extra action, and then she can have Gale Force as well. Now, the big thing about this is that her B skill is free. So you can actually run a B skill on this Adelgard, unlike all of the other Adelgards that have triple actions. So like Fallen Adelgard has Armored Wall in the B slot. You can get rid of that, I guess. It's not the biggest deal. But Fallen Adelgard herself has fallen pretty far. Then there's Legendary Adelgard, who also has Raging Storm, and then Summer Adelgard, who's got Raging Storm. So this Adelgard has a free B slot to do whatever. And then she's still getting the second action, so I mean, it's pretty clear to me who won this. Well, actually, maybe Alphonse won. They're probably about equally tied, I would say. They're both pretty good. Like, they definitely seem to be the most viable here. And then, as for the rest of these guys, I want to say Bantu is probably in third place here. Maybe Conrad is slightly better than Bantu, but see, the thing about Bantu is that he's very easy to get. So it's not difficult at all to get this guy to plus 10 if you need to. And we have so many good dragon fodder skills now that I feel like he's a worthy 3-star and 4-star demote with this refine. So that's going to wrap us up for the refine portion of these data mines. We're going to come back in just a sec, and we will go ahead and cover the new stats for the child units.